I need to tell you something, and I need you to really hear me. That thing you're chasing, the money, the promotion, the house, the body, the respect, whatever it is that you think is going to finally make your life work, it's not going to give you what you think it will. I'm William, 77 years old, and I spent 50 years of my life running after things that were never going to fill the hole I was trying to fill. 50 years. That's a long time to be chasing the wrong thing. So sit with me for a few minutes, because what took me half a century to figure out, I'm going to try to give to you right now. And maybe, just maybe, you won't waste as much time as I did. We all do this thing. We all say, I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get the promotion. I'll be happy when I pay off the house. I'll be happy when I retire. I'll be happy when people finally respect me. I said that my whole life. My whole damn life. And you know what? I got the promotion. I paid off the house. I retired. People respect me, I think. I don't know. At 77, you stop keeping track. But here's what nobody tells you. When you get the thing, there's always another thing. Always. The finish line moves. You think you're almost there, and then you look up, and it's further away than when you started. I spent 50 years running toward a finish line that didn't exist. Let me tell you something about myself that I'm not proud of. I grew up poor. Not starving poor, but poor enough to know it. My father worked at a factory his whole life, came home tired every night, hands all beat up, and people still looked at him like he was nothing, like he didn't matter. I watched that. I was maybe 10, 11 years old, and I watched how people treated my father. And something in me said, that's not going to be me. I'm going to be somebody. I'm going to make people respect me. So that's what I did. I worked. Lord, I worked. 60, 70 hours a week sometimes. Missed my kids growing up. Missed dinners. Missed baseball games. Missed everything. But I was building something. I was becoming somebody. By 52, I was a vice president. Corner office. People called me sir. My name was on the door. And you know what I felt? Nothing. I mean, not nothing. I felt, I don't know how to describe it. Empty, I guess. Like I climbed all the way up this mountain, and when I got to the top, there was nothing there. Just another mountain. I remember sitting in that corner office, door closed, looking out the window, thinking, this is it? This is what I gave up everything for? Took me another 20 years to understand what happened. 20 years. I'm a slow learner, I guess. Here's what I finally figured out. I wasn't chasing money. I wasn't chasing titles. I wasn't even chasing respect. Not really. I was chasing a feeling. I wanted to feel like I was enough, like I mattered, like I was worthy of being here. That's what I was really after. And I thought if I just achieved enough, if I just climbed high enough, I'd finally feel it. But you can't get that feeling from a job title. You can't get it from a paycheck. You can't get it from people calling you sir. That feeling, the feeling of being enough, I could have given that to myself the whole time. I didn't need anyone's permission. I didn't need to earn it. I just needed to decide. Decide that I was worthy, that I mattered, that I was enough, exactly as I was. I could have done that at 25. I did it at 73. That's 48 years I wasted trying to earn something that was already mine. Same thing happened with my marriage. Different story, same mistake. I thought if I provided enough, if I gave my wife the house, the cars, the nice things, she'd be happy. We'd be happy. That was my job, right? Provide. So I provided. I provided the hell out of that marriage. But you know what my wife actually wanted? She wanted me. Present, listening, there. And I wasn't. I was at work, or thinking about work, or too tired from work to be any kind of company. We almost split up when I was about 48, and it wasn't because I wasn't successful. It was because I was gone. Even when I was home, I was gone. She told me once, I remember this clear as anything, she said, "William, I don't need the money. I need you. I need you to look at me. I need you to hear me. I need you to be here." And I didn't understand. I thought I was being here. I was paying the bills, wasn't I? I was keeping a roof over our heads. Took me a long time to understand the difference between providing for someone and being present with someone. They're not the same thing, not even close. I'm 77 now. Most of my friends are around my age, some older, some younger. A few of them are gone already, and I've noticed something interesting. The ones who are miserable, they're still chasing, still comparing, still keeping score. I got a friend, he's 84 years old, and he's still mad that his neighbor has a nicer car. 84, still looking over the fence, still measuring himself against other people, and he's miserable, absolutely miserable. I got another friend, she's 79, and all she talks about is what she doesn't have. Her knees hurt, her kids don't call enough, her pension isn't big enough, everything is a complaint, everything is a problem. She's been unhappy as long as I've known her, and she's going to be unhappy until the day she dies, because she's still waiting for something outside of her to change, so she can finally be okay. But then I got other friends, and these people, I don't know what it is exactly, but they got something, a lightness, a peace. They're not trying to prove anything to anyone. They're not keeping score. They're just here, present, curious about things, enjoying what's in front of them. My friend Earl, he's 86, and this man is the happiest person I know. He doesn't have much, little apartment, fixed income, health isn't great, but he wakes up every morning grateful. He's always learning something new, reading something, asking questions about things. He told me once, he said, "William, I spent 60 years trying to be somebody. Now I'm just trying to be here, and it's so much better." That's the difference. It's not money, it's not health, it's not even family, though that helps. It's whether you've made peace with yourself, whether you've stopped chasing and started being. You want to know what real freedom feels like? I'll tell you what it feels like. It's not having a bunch of money. I got friends with money who are trapped in their own heads, worried about everything, can't enjoy anything. Real freedom is when the things that used to bother you don't bother you anymore. When someone says something nasty and it rolls off you like water. When you're not walking around needing everyone to like you. When you can look in the mirror, see a 77-year-old man looking back at you and say, "Yeah, that's me, and I'm okay with that." Real freedom is not needing anything outside of you to be okay inside of you. And that, my friend, that takes most people a lifetime to figure out. Some people never figure it out. They die still chasing, still waiting, still thinking happiness is around the next corner. Here's the trap, and I want you to really understand this. You think once you get the thing, you'll be satisfied, but you won't. There's always another thing. I paid off my house when I was 58. Thought I'd feel free. Thought I'd finally relax. You know what happened? I started worrying about the next thing. Retirement savings. Healthcare costs. What if the market crashes? What if this? What if that? The fear didn't go away when my circumstances changed. The fear just found something new to attach itself to. And that's when I realized something important. The fear doesn't leave when your life gets better. The fear leaves when you change. When you decide you're not going to let it run your life anymore. When you decide that you're okay, right now, today, regardless of what happens tomorrow. That's an inside job. No amount of money can do that for you. No achievement, no relationship. It's something you got to do yourself. Everything I thought I wanted, the title, the money, the house, the respect, I didn't actually want those things. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel like I mattered. I wanted to feel loved. And I was looking for those feelings in all the wrong places. I was trying to get them from my job, from my bank account, from other people's opinions. But those feelings, safety, worthiness, love, I could have given them to myself, any time. I didn't need to earn them. I just needed to accept them. Accept that I was already safe, already worthy, already loved. That sounds simple. I know it does. But it took me 50 years to really understand it. And I'm still working on it, honestly. 77 years old and I'm still practicing. Young people think happiness is at the finish line. I thought that too. But there is no finish line. You get one thing, there's another thing. You solve one problem, another one shows up. That's just life. That's how it works. So if you're waiting until everything is perfect to be happy, you're going to wait forever. Because it's never going to be perfect. Something's always going to be wrong. Something's always going to be missing. The journey is the destination. I heard someone say that once and I didn't understand it. Now I do. This is it. Right here, right now. This is your life. Not when you get the promotion. Not when you meet the right person. Not when you pay off the debt. Now. If you can't find some peace on the way to where you're going, you're not going to find it when you get there either. I promise you that. I've been there. The arrival doesn't feel like you think it's going to feel. So here's what I want you to take from all this. Stop waiting. Stop telling yourself, I'll be happy when. That's a lie. I believed that lie for 50 years, and all it gave me was 50 years of postponed living. Whatever you think you need to be happy, you don't need it. What you need is to decide you're enough, right now, today, with everything exactly as it is. You're enough. You hear me? You're already enough. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to earn it. You just have to accept it. I'm 77 years old. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've chased a lot of wrong things. I've wasted a lot of time. But the one thing I know for sure is this. Everything you're looking for is already inside you. You just got to stop running long enough to notice. If this meant something to you, share it with somebody who's grinding themselves into dust, chasing something that's never going to make them whole. And tell me in the comments, what's your I'll be happy when? What are you waiting for? What would change if you just decided you were enough right now? Subscribe if you want more of these conversations.
Have you ever stopped to really think about this question? Why are you the only species that pays to live on Earth? I'm talking not just rent for a house or an apartment, but rent for being alive. Every month, money leaves your hands just to exist. Food, water, shelter, car, and what have you. And if you can't pay, the world doesn't wait. It punishes you. It hit me hard when I turned 27. I had a decent job, a nice car, friends, and a little savings. I wasn't broke, but I felt really hollow, empty. Every day was the same. Wake up, work at a desk, order food, pay fees, pay taxes, pay subscriptions. It felt like every breath came with a price tag. But the moment that really changed something in me came one afternoon, sitting beside a dying old friend. I realized something then, something you don't forget once you see it. No one at the end of their life wishes they had worked more hours, or paid more rent, or grown their bank account just a little bigger. At the end, the wish is never for more money. It is for more memorable moments with the people we love. That same day, I saw two squirrels on a branch, just eating, running around, existing. No bills, no rent, no monthly subscriptions, just to stay alive. Now sure, you might say, well, we're intelligent beings, we're not like other species. But even so, why do you have to pay just to exist? Why do you have to earn access to things nature gives freely? For now, I'm not even going to get into how we ended up here. It's too exhausting, too absurd. But that was the day I started asking the question no one wants to ask out loud. We think it's normal because we're used to it. And that might be the biggest lie you've ever believed about life. Think about it. Trees grow for free. The wind doesn't invoice you for breathing it in, nor does rivers send bills for quenching your thirst. The oceans clean themselves and the birds migrate without borders. Only humans invented this idea that living is something you must earn. I'm not here to tell you to quit your job or live off grid, but maybe you should ask, who profits from your struggle to survive? Why is existence something you have to earn? And what would a world without rent, without paying to earn a living, really look like? Imagine a world where the lie is finally unraveled, not through chaos or rebellion, but through a quiet remodeling of the human mind. A world transformed not by force, but where we stop playing the old game. A world where you don't pay rent, you build your home and live in it. You never buy food. Your garden provides everything you need. People no longer work to survive. They work because it brings joy and take deep pleasure in the work of their hands. Knowledge flows freely, a boundless resource for good, filling the earth like the waters are covering the sea. Families spend slow afternoons beneath canopies of green. No one profits from another's struggle because there are no struggles. What would a world like that look like? We can only imagine a world like that for now. But here's the part that stayed with me. The system doesn't feel violent. It feels normal. And when something is treated as normal for long enough, you stop seeing it. You stop questioning it. So maybe the real question isn't why do we pay to exist? How many of the most absurd parts of our lives survive not because they make sense, but because everyone agrees not to ask why? And right now, humanity has been taught to believe that questioning money, rent, and ownership is dangerous, impractical, naive. But maybe the most dangerous thing is Have you ever noticed how the most absurd things in life are the ones we never question? That's the trick. If you're born into a system and everyone around you treats it as normal, you accept it too. You don't stop to ask, wait a second, why does this exist at all? The first time I shared this thought out loud with a friend, this idea that humans are the only species that pays to exist, they laughed. They shook their heads, smiled, and said, come on, man, that's just how the world works. And in that moment, something in me snapped awake. Because isn't that one of the most lazy sentences in the human language? That's just how it works. How many lies have survived through history because people repeated that line like there's nothing we can do? Slavery used to be just how the world worked. Children working in coal mines, wars fought over salt, people dying from curable diseases. All of that was just how the world worked until it wasn't. Until someone, somewhere, finally broke the silence and said, this doesn't make sense. This isn't natural. This isn't right. So when my friend brushed me off with that one sentence, I realized something. The reason we pay to exist is not because it's logical or natural or inevitable. It's because no one questions it loudly enough. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a child born into this system. From the moment they're old enough to understand, they're told, you must go to school so you can get a good job. You need a job so you can pay for food, water, shelter. Not because those things are rare. Food grows, water flows, land exists, but because we wrap them in visible chains and called those chains ownership, property, commerce. The child grows, works hard, takes on debt for education, debt for a home, debt for a car, and then spends the best decades of their life chasing papers and numbers on screens. If they stop running, if they say, I don't want to play, the world doesn't pat them on the back and say, rest, you're free. No, the world punishes them. Lose your job, lose your home, miss your payments, lose your food, lose your security. It doesn't matter how kind, how creative, how human you are. If you can't play the money game, the system throws you out. And we call this normal. That word again. We call it normal because it's familiar, not not because it's sane. Let me flip it for you. Imagine, only imagining that you're explaining this to an alien who lands on Earth. The alien asks, so tell me how your species survives. And we say, well, we invented a token called money. You can't eat it, drink it, or breathe it, but without it, you die. The alien tilts its head. Wait, you starve in a world of food because you don't have these tokens. And we nod. And you sleep in the streets while buildings sit empty because you didn't pay the token keeper. We nod again. The alien would laugh or cry, maybe both, because it's madness dressed up in suits and ties. But here's the scarier part. Most of us don't even see the bars of the cage anymore. When you're born in captivity, freedom looks strange. When every adult around you says, work hard, pay your bills, that's life, you don't even think to ask if there's another way. And that's how the lie survives. Not because it's strong, but because we've stopped noticing it. We've mistaken conditioning for truth. Now, pause for a moment. I want you to think about the stress that hums quietly in your body every day. The bills on your counter, the rent due at the end of the month, the car payments, the insurance, that low-level anxiety that never really disappears. Do you feel it? That's not life. That's the leash. That's how the system ensures you keep running. Because if survival itself depends on money, you will never stop chasing it. And here's the kicker. That leash doesn't just control your body. It controls your imagination. Because how can you dream about art, about discovery, about love, about wonder, when half your mind is occupied with how will I pay next month's rent? This is why the richest human experiences, joy, connection, meaning, feel so rare. Not because they are scarce, but because our attention is hijacked. Because the system keeps us running on treadmills, exhausted, too tired to remember there is more to being alive than paying invoices. So let me ask again, if the only reason you believe something is because everyone else does, is that really belief or programming? I'll tell you something I've learned. The cage doesn't need locks if the birds believe the sky is dangerous. And right now, humanity has been taught to believe that questioning money, rent, and ownership is dangerous, impractical, naive. But maybe the most dangerous thing is never asking at all. So as I sat there thinking about my friend's laughter, I realized he wasn't laughing at me. He was laughing because the truth unsettled him. Because once you glimpse the bars of the cage, you can never unsee them. And once you ask the forbidden question, your life changes. Slowly at first, then all at once. You stop seeing the world as a fixed machine and start seeing it as a story. A story written by people no different than you. And if it's just a story, it can be rewritten. That thought haunted me. It still does. Because if this whole system is nothing but a shared myth, then the real question is not, why do we pay to live? The real question is, who benefits when you believe you must? And that's where we're heading next. Because in part 3, we're going to look at the invention at the heart of this lie, money itself, and how we turn paper and numbers into a god that rules our lives. The biggest lie about money isn't just that you need it to live. The biggest lie is that it is real. Do you know what the strangest magic trick in human history is? It isn't walking on water. It isn't turning lead into gold. It's this: convincing billions of people to worship paper. Think about it. Money is just paper, numbers on a screen, an invention, a symbol. And yet it has become more powerful than kings, than armies, than religions. People kill for it. People die for it. People dedicate the best hours of their short lives to chasing it. And the irony? You can't eat it. You can't drink it. You can't breathe it. If the world was ending tomorrow, what would you rather hold in your hand? A suitcase full of cash or a jug of clean water? But we don't live like that, do we? We've convinced ourselves that this paper, these numbers, mean life itself, that without them, we're nothing. Let's rewind. Once upon a time, money was just a tool, a way to trade goods without carrying sacks of wheat or sheep on your back. That's reasonable. But somewhere along the way, we forgot it was a tool and made it the master. The invention became the idol. Today, money isn't just a medium of exchange. It's the measurement of worth. Not worth as in morality, kindness, wisdom. No, worth as in, what is your number? What is your salary? What is your net worth? We even call it that, net worth. Think about those words. Your value as a human being is calculated down to digits. If you're worthless, it doesn't mean you have no kindness or no soul. It means you have no money. Isn't that insane? And yet we accept it without flinching. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met an old fisherman. He lived by the sea in a wooden shack with no electricity. Every morning, he rowed out into the waves, cast his net, and came back with enough fish to eat, and sometimes enough to share with his neighbors. He smiled often. He sang while he worked. He moved slowly, peacefully, like a man unburdened. Now imagine dropping him into our world, a world of rent, mortgages, tax forms, subscription renewals, insurance policies, credit scores. He'd look at us and wonder, how do you people survive with all these chains? Why do you pay to breathe air that was free yesterday? And we'd laugh at him, call him poor, because he doesn't have paper. But tell me, who was richer? Him, with his net and his songs, Or us, running like rats through mazes, staring at clocks, working jobs we hate to buy things we don't need, with a quiet emptiness that no paycheck ever really fills? The biggest lie about money isn't just that you need it to live. The biggest lie is that it is real. Pause here. Look around your room. That chair you're sitting on, the device you're listening to this with, the air you're breathing, those are real. Money, it exists only because we agree it does. If tomorrow morning every human on Earth decided this paper has no value, what would happen? It would vanish into nothingness. It's not real. It's a story, a shared dream. And yet, because enough people believe the dream, it shapes reality. That's the power of collective illusion. When you think about it, money functions like a god. It tells you when to rise and when to sleep. It decides who is fed and who starves. It commands fear, devotion, sacrifice, and just like ancient gods, it demands offerings. Every month, you sacrifice hours of your life at its altar, handing over your time and energy in exchange for permission to survive. But here's the thing. Gods only live as long as people believe in them. When faith crumbles, so does the deity. Now, I'm not here to say money is evil. Money is neutral, like fire. It can warm you or burn you. The problem isn't the tool, it's the worship. It's the way we've chained human dignity, human freedom, human existence itself to this invention, and then convinced ourselves that it's natural, that it's eternal, that it's the only way. Let me challenge you. Imagine, just for a moment, a world where money doesn't exist. I know, your brain resists. It says impossible, chaos, collapse. But hold that thought. Strip away the bills, the coins, the screens. Do people disappear? No. Do skills vanish? No. Does the earth stop growing food? Do rivers stop flowing? Do hands forget how to build, teach, heal, create? No. Money disappears, but humanity remains. The earth remains. Abundance remains. What changes is who gets to decide who eats, who sleeps safe, because right now, money decides that. And when you really think about it, isn't it insane that a system we invented is now deciding who lives fully and who barely survives? And maybe this is the cruelest part. We tell ourselves this is fair. We say, well, you didn't work hard enough, you didn't hustle, you didn't earn it, as though the child born into poverty had the same starting line as the billionaire's heir, as though survival should ever be something you have to earn. When I think about this, I remember something my dying friend once whispered. No one wishes for more money at the end. They wish for more time. And yet the system convinces us to trade our time away, minute by minute, for numbers. It's the cruelest exchange, giving away the one thing you can never get back for something that never truly existed in the first place. So let me leave you with this question. If money is just a story, why do we keep telling it the same way? Why not write a new story, one where existence itself is free, as it always was meant to be? That's the doorway we're standing in front of. And in part 4, we're going to look at how this story of money gets dressed up as success, how we chase bigger houses, shinier cars, fatter bank accounts, thinking we're free when really we're just polishing the bars of the cage. Have you ever stopped to really think about this question? Why are you the only species that pays to live on Earth? I'm talking not just rent for a house or an apartment, but rent for being alive. Every month, money leaves your hands just to exist. Food, water, shelter, car, and what have you. And if you can't pay, the world doesn't wait. It punishes you. It hit me hard when I turned 27. I had a decent job, a nice car, friends, and a little savings. I wasn't broke, but I felt really hollow, empty. Every day was a routine. Wake up, work at a desk, order food, pay a delivery fee, pay taxes, pay subscriptions. It was like every breath came with a price tag. It hit me harder like a brick when I sat beside a dying old friend one afternoon. I realized that no dying man lies in a hospital bed wishing he'd spent more time at the office, he'd paid more taxes, paid more rent, or flooded his bank account with money. That same day, I saw 2 squirrels on a branch, just eating, running around, existing. No bills, no rent, no monthly subscriptions, just to stay alive. Now, sure, you might say, well, we're intelligent beings. We're not like other species. But regardless of that, why do you have to pay just to be alive? I'm not even going to get into how we ended up here. It's too exhausting, too absurd. But that was the day I started asking the question no one wants to ask out loud. We think it's normal because we're used to it. Well, that is the biggest lie you ever believed about life. Think about it. Trees grow for free. The wind doesn't invoice you for breathing it in, nor does rivers send bills for quenching our thirst. The oceans clean themselves and the birds migrate without borders. Only humans invented this idea that living is something you must earn. I'm not here to tell you to quit your job or live off grid, but maybe you should ask, who profits from your struggle to survive? Why is existence something you have to earn? And most importantly, what would a world without rent, without paying to earn a living, really look like? Imagine a world where this biggest lie is finally unraveled, not through chaos or rebellion, but through a quiet remodeling of the human mind. A world transformed not by force, but where we stop playing the old game. You don't pay rent. You build your home and live in it. You never buy food. Your garden provides everything you need. People no longer work to survive. They work because it brings joy and take deep pleasure in the work of their hands. Knowledge flows freely, a boundless resource for good, filling the earth like the waters are covering the sea. Families spend slow afternoons beneath canopies of green. No one profits from another's struggle because there are no struggles. And children, they grow up never hearing the phrase, earn a living, because here in the new earth, life is not a transaction. What would a world like that look like? For us, for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because every week we imagine new possibilities.